Brand new developments in the Benghazi investigation amid word that top brass at the state and defense departments, as well as senior intelligence officials, knew eastern Libya was a hub for jihadists for years, long before the deadly terror attack last September 11th that killed 4 Americans, including our ambassador to Libya. Some new questions now about the level of security at the U.S. consulate and why our people were put in harm's way in the first place. Joining us now, Senator John Barrasso, a Republican from Wyoming. He is the chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. He also serves on the Foreign Relations Committee. Your committee received a letter from Senator John Kerry, the committee chairman, on Friday, saying that Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State, is expected to testify before the end of the term. How critical is her testimony, Senator?
Well, I think it's very important to have hearings with Hillary, and they need to be, in my opinion, open and on the record. There are so many questions to be asked of this administration, of Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, but also of the president about what happened before 9/11. It's been tomorrow will be 3 months since the attacks on 9/11, and there are more questions now, John, than there even were before.
Senator Kerry also indicated that the Accountability Review Board that Ambassador Thomas Pickering is heading is about to issue its report. Do you need to wait for that report to come out before getting the Secretary of State's testimony?
Well, I want to read the report, and I want to ask a number of questions to the Secretary, but I don't think we need to wait for the report in order to have her to come to the Hill, because the questions are the same. It really seems like this administration and this president knew or should have known that al-Qaeda-linked terrorists were there in Libya. It was truly a hotbed for recruitment of those terrorists, and it really does seem like a poor decision of the administration to deny additional security to our ambassador who is heading to Benghazi, and even to allow him to be there. But there have been multiple attacks in Benghazi. The Red Cross pulled out, the British pulled out, and yet we continue to send our underprotected ambassador there, where he and 3 other brave Americans were massacred.
So is it your view that we should not have had diplomatic personnel on the ground, or we should have had a military-style protection force, or both?
They either needed to be not there or adequately protected, and I want to know why the administration, on 2 occasions following 2 already previous attacks on the consulate there in Benghazi, still denied additional security and allowed our ambassador there. And these are things that developed before the attack. So much of this focus has been on what happened during and then after the attack with Susan Rice and her comments. I want to get it back to the President and the Secretary of State, and they bear responsibility for what happened on 9/11.
Well, Secretary Clinton has already said that the buck stops with her as far as diplomatic security. Eric Nordstrom, who was in charge of security on the ground, has already testified before Congress, saying that he had asked for more security and it was rejected at State Department headquarters. Is that Secretary Clinton's responsibility?
Well, it seems that the president should have known about the level of recruitment going on for al-Qaeda-linked terrorists right in that area. It was a hotbed. It was really a center of recruiting right there in eastern Libya. So I want to know why the president continued to speak of having al-Qaeda on the run when, in fact, that's not the case at all. We saw them getting stronger, more forceful, and the story that he was telling the American people, I think now is going to come out, was a story to deceive the American people, but certainly to mislead them.
You started off this segment by saying you believe that those hearings should be open. Is there the possibility, maybe the likelihood, that they'll be closed?
Well, not if I have anything to do with it. I want to have open hearings on the record so the American people can hear the answers from the Secretary of State.
Senator John Barrasso, a Republican from Wyoming. We'll look forward to those hearings, and yes, we do hope they're open. Thanks very much, Senator.
Thanks for having me, John.